Hello everybody, and it's FRC, showing you the live coverage of the 2011 Formula Racing Championship round 13 at Singapore, as we are going green in just a couple of minutes at the beautiful street circuit named Marina Bay. So we still don't know what's going to happen into turn 1, but the only thing we know is that we have the title contender starting from the front row, and these drivers, Max Mittler and Aditya Bagus. Aditya was just 100th of a second slower than Smittler in the qualifying, so we still don't know who's going to win the race, and hopefully we're going to have some exciting action like it happened the last weekend at Monza. Anyways, I guess now it's time to take a look at the starting grid. Again, no rain, everything is fine with the weather, and so we are about to begin the one of a few night races uh, of this season. And yes, it's going to be actually the first uh, night race. The second one is going to be Yas Marine round 16. So yes, now it's time to begin. And now our eyes on the starting grid, as we have as already said, Max Mittler and Aditya Bagus starting from the front row. On P3 it's Darbus Daniel, the Italian Grand Prix podium finisher. Then it's Daniel Fraser from Ferrari, another Mercedes, it's Berta Kieslin, Abovic from McLaren, who won at Italy for the first time this season. Then it's Yura Gabriel, Rosetta Martinez, and two Renas completing the top 10, Santino Andreoli and Vucic Armin. On P11 we have Victor Aitken with Jafar Blackwood on P12, Toros of Samet Oskan on P13 with Jake Tassi on P14, Alexander Arnold, who made it into Q2 on Williams, and the second Zauber of Eric Libani Kanebuse. P17 HRT of Emil Nielsen, too close to make it into Q2, but sadly only P17. P18 for Fernando Tost, P19 Lionel Messi, P20 another HRT Colin Chapman, P21 Adam Hidayat, and P22 the driver who finished second at Monza but sadly has got an engine failure, a water leak during the warm-up lap in Q1, and as a result he has set no time at all and he's starting last. About the conditions, yes, another uh, race in dry conditions, no rain at all. Uh, the same as no sun. This is going to be the night race, the first night race of the season. And here we have a Monza loading screen. But anyways, we're here at Singapore to start the race. As we have all the drivers prepared on the starting grid to have some exciting battles on this street track, as we have 5 lights, and we are going green at Singapore at Marina Bay. Max Miller keeps the first position down the main straight. He comes round the outside and he's still on P1. Daniel up into second, Bagus down to third, Fraser and Kiesin side by side, and Fraser is still going to be on P4. Yes, we had some overtakes here. I guess there were no collisions behind, and yes, I was right, as Owen makes it up into P21, overtaking the Lotus of Adam Hidayat. We have side by side battle between Kiesin and Fraser. And also Bagus is going to remove on Daniel unsuccessfully. Fraser on the inside, Kessler on the outside. They're coming side by side again. And round outside comes the Ferrari of Daniel Fraser to make it up into the 4th position. Kessler is down to 5th. Uh, Looks like nothing else has changed. And yes, that's it after the first sector. The top 3 is going to be Max Smittler, Darbus, Daniel, and DJ Bagus. Into one of the most tricky corners of the track. And yeah, that's extremely difficult to overtake here at Singapore, so it's yeah, I guess there are going to be not that many overtakes as we've seen, for example, at Italy. Yeah, we're comparing everything to Italy as it was the last race. So we're going to start the second lap, and hopefully the things are going to be a bit more interesting. Do we have any battles? No, we don't. At least one, and it's Blackwood and Aitken. Into turn 1, Blackwood on the inside, Aitken on the outside. Clear maneuver there. Arnold runs wide, and Erica is up into P15. I guess we're going to take a look at it. Everything is fine. And now Owen is up into P20. I'm making a move on Chapman on the HRT. An easy move there, of course, because he's driving a McLaren. And what's happened to Arnold as he was defended from Erica and looked up and has lost the position to Erica as she is now on P15. Townsley going for a move on Aitken. No. And actually I think it's going to be quite a long race. So I guess we can talk about some tactics. For now, it's already lap 2 and nothing happens at all, as the only overtaken spot is the turn 1, turn 2 section. Yes, the gaps are pretty close, but it does not mean anything. It's going to be lap 3 next time they cross the finish line. And the gaps are increasing lap by lap, even sector by sector. Here comes Max to start the third lap of the race. And yes, now the most important is to make a clear maneuver into turn 1, as it's quite difficult to catch the car after you make the mistake, as the corner is quite narrow. Tires happen to P13. Again, no collisions, and that's great. And yes, actually I hope that Bagos would make a move on Smittler on the first lap to make some challenge, to challenge him in not just in the race but in the championship. As I was talking about it during the qualifying, the positions are, the standings are, well, the championship in Turkey is slowly dying. 31 points between Smittler and Kessian, and 35 points between Bagos and Smittler. So yeah, I guess I cannot even call Smittler and Bagos the title contenders. Bagos is slower than Daniel, while Smittler is a bit but faster than Darbus on the third lap of the race. Here comes Smittler to start the lap number 4. The thing I was about to talk is the tactics, as we have a race leader with 15 laps of fuel, then 10 laps for Bagos. He's definitely going for an undercut. Fraser and Kessin have around 14-13 laps of fuel, 16 laps for Yuri, 12 for Aboba, Rosetta has 13, Armin and Andreoli 12 and 11, and so basically everyone except Victor Aitken are going for 2 pit stops strategy, but not Victor as he has 26 more liters of fuel. So basically he's going to be pitting on lap 20-25 and he's going for a 1 pit stop strategy. I'm not sure that he's the only one to do that, but he is. He risks it all. Try to gain as many positions as possible with this strategy while he was looking up at the start of the second sector after the long straight, and he's losing a lot of time to Erika, so that's how his strategy works. Not quite well, but I guess um, he's going to gain more time than he is going to lose during the first stint. Yeah, not the best strategy, but I guess it's going to work. Not even a collision into turn 1 after these 4 laps. 4 starting laps, as here comes Owen, only on P20, on a McLaren, going for a move on Lotus. But no, he can't do anything. There was a lockup by somebody, I think it was by Lionel Messi, who's still on P19, keeping the Brit behind. And already look at this gap, 2.5 seconds between Aitken and Erika Levani Hanebusa. And we have a yellow flag and it's Adam Hidet retiring. Yeah, that was not the best weekend for him. Only P21 in qualifying. Not counting Beethoven, he was last. Oh, as I would like to call him Mr. Saturday, but it was a disaster. It was not the best performance by him in the qualifying, and now that mistake finishes his weekend at Singapore for Adam. And yes, we have the first crash, and Owen makes it up to P19, overtaking Lionel Messi. And I guess to say the first retirement is better. So yeah, it's the first retirement, the first crash. And look at this dive bomb on the inside by the McLaren driver. And now he is on P19. Hidayat is out of the race. Bagus is still in the DRS zone behind Daniel, as the gap between the leaders is already 2.5 seconds. It was just a second a few laps ago, but now Daniel is losing a lot of time to the championship leader. Now Toast is down to P21. As probably there was a collision between him and Baked! And that's true. They touch into turn 1. And that makes things for Baked even more complicated, as now he's only P20. Yeah, P20. So what's happened here? Another try to make a dive bomb into the first corner, and the try was quite unsuccessful. Hopefully Fernandez Transmission is fine, as that was a huge jump by his car. And now he is on the last position. He's now on P21. And oh, Beethoven looks up, and he has absolutely the same situation as Adam had, but luckily he did not end up in the wall. Anyways, let's get back to the leading group, as probably Max is saving some fuel or something, but the gap is not increasing after lap 5. It's still 2.4, or probably it was a slight mistake, or not that slight for Daniel, so he has lost 2 seconds. But yes, anyways, that's it. Oh, and looks like it's a throttle problem for Colin Chapman, as it's going to be another retirement. I was looking for some statistics about the amount of drivers finishing the race, and the record of the most of the biggest number of drivers finishing the race is 18, as it happened at Bahrain and Belgium. I guess the record can be broken, as now we have only 20 drivers after 7 laps. But actually, let's see. The top 3 staying the same, and yes, the race progression is looking quite boring, with just 2 overtakes inside the top 10 during the first 7 laps. Only Daniel gets past Bagus and Armin gets past Andreoli. That's why probably this race is going to be the last Singaporean Grand Prix. But yeah, that's not confirmed yet, as we also don't know the calendar for the 2012 season. Bagus with this special red helmet, which was supposed to be a special helmet for the Monza, but yeah, he's racing at Singapore. He's pretty close to Daniel, who's still 2.5 seconds behind Max Smitler. Aditya Bagus is still trying to catch some slipstream to catch the Mercedes driver and to get his second position back, as he was starting from second, but now he's third, after that overtake into turn 1 on the first lap of the race. And also we're looking for some commentators if you want to commentate the races, the qualifying sessions. You can contact us on Discord, the link is in the description, and you can just freely join the race stream's voice chat, where the race is currently being streamed. And looks like Victor has some problems into the first couple of corners. Well, let's see. He was going pretty slow there, and yes, something wrong has happened. For example, looking at Nielsen's, it was a bit faster, but yes, looks like a little lockup by the Toro Rosso driver, as now he's losing 10 seconds to Eric Hayabusa, as surely that was not a winning tactics by the Toro Rosso strategists. It's already 2.8 seconds between the leaders of the race, between Smitler and Daniel, and the only thing that can save the intrigue is a mistake by Max or a slow pit stop. As we are already going to have some pit stops in a couple of laps, as Bagus is going to pit next lap, I think, as he has a bit more than 2 liters of fuel. But yeah, let's see. He still has the same pace as Daniel. He's looking quite good as he's pitting this lap. He's going to be the only one who'll do that. Santina is crossing the line and not pitting. No. Yeah, he's going to be the only one. Then it's going to be Bobovic, Santina Andreoli. No, I guess it's just going to be Santina. Jafari, Jake. I'm baked. And yeah, that's all. As we're opening the first pit window of this race, let's just have an onboard with Aditya. Going through the final sector, and now making it into the pits, the Indonesian racing for Red Bull. Fraser moves up into third, and let's see how fast his pit crew is going to be acting. all the eyes on his pit stop as he's not just fighting for the second position, but also fighting for the second position in the championship. I'm not saying that he's fighting for the world championship, for the crown of the world champion, but yeah, 4.6, a solid pit stop, as yes, he has a 2 pit stop strategy, and he is now on P14 between Eric Hanebusa and Victor Aitken. Okay, now the drivers who are going to beat Santina, Jafari, Jake, and that's not all, as also Baked Oven has sorry, I was thinking that he has got some failure, but no, it was just a low fuel message on his steering wheel. It's also Baked is beating this lap. The next lap it's going to be Abovich, Armin, uh, Hanebusa, as Oven is going for a move on Messi. And yeah, I guess that's all. And it's going to be not the fastest speed stop, only 6.9. Jafar is going to have 31 liter of fuel, 6.7, and it's going to be Jake Taylor's head, as he had 2 seconds, as he had 4.7 seconds speed stop, unlike Jafari with 6.7 seconds of a time being spent on the pit lane, with tires being changed. And actually talking about the pit stops, not anyone, not Jake, not Jafari, is not going to make it to the end with this amount of fuel. Smithler and Daniel are continuing their race. They're still not pitting. Fraser is going to be pitting this lap, sorry, next lap, as Abovich makes it into the pits. He's now on P5. And let's take a look on the pit stop by McLaren. On previous lap they were serving Baked, and now it's going to be Abovich in the pits. Looks like some problems with the front left, but it actually looks fine. 7.2, also not the fastest pit stop. And he's not making it to the end. 6.6 by Armin. Or it's better to say for Armin. 5.5 for Erica. And she's going to be on P18, even P19, behind the teammate Jake Tylesley. Well, it's going to be Kiesley in the pits. As Fraser is going to be beaten, but not this lap. It's such a strange tactics by Ferrari, as he may not make it into the pits. And Kieslin is pitting, Martinez is pitting, Oscar is pitting, and also Lionel Messi is pitting. He's now on P12. Nielsen ahead of Army. Nielsen also has to pit, but he's slowing down the Renault. Tost is ahead of Andreoli, the same situation. And Smeatler and Daniel are going to be pitting next lap, the same as Fraser. The same as Fraser, and it's going to be the double pit stop. A double pit stop for Ferrari. Oh, a problem for Berta Kiesley. A problem for Berta Kiesley in the pits. Let's take a look at the replay, as his pit stop was ruined by Rosetta Martinez, the Force India. 6.6 by Rosetta though, and Oscar 5.8. Oh, that's going to be interesting to watch. Two Ferraris, double pit stop for them, even if the gap is 5 seconds, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Or it is. Wait. Wait a minute, yes, it's truth. Just 5 seconds between them. Between two Ferraris. And it's going to be not the best. It's going to be the worst strategy for the team from Maranello. They could have extended the lead in the Constructors' Championship, but no, they're not going to do that. Who cares if we can screw up the pit stop for the second driver. The second driver who is on the track, of course, between the teammates. As we see Daniel Fraser behind Max Mietler. Daniel Fraser is going to lose a lot of time, as the pit crew was not prepared for him. And that's all. 5.3 by Daniel, 6.3 by Smeatler, as Gabriel is going to be leading the race. And yes, that's all. Probably Daniel's going to be fighting for P10, at least, but come on, it's very difficult to overtake. It's Singapore, it's not Monza, it's not Spa-Francorchamps, where you can overtake. At least when you have some chance to do that. 25.5 by Ferrari. Fantastic pit stop. Awesome job by the pit crew. And it's not going to be even P10, it's going to be P15. Arnold in the pits, and absolutely the same tactics for Williams. Absolutely the same tactics. Messi is going to make it up into P19. Nielsen is 5.7, not bad. So now it's going to be Gabriel pitting. Yuri is pitting. Is he going to be leading the race? I'm not sure, but he's going to be on the podium. At least one Red Bull is going to be on the podium for now. Let's take a look at the pit stop. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? 6.3. They could have done better. Daniel second, Bagus third, and Gabriel is going to be on P4 or P5. No, it's going to be P5. P5 for Red Bull. As we have Victor Aitken on P7. Yeah, actually the tactics work quite good. Let's take a look at the race progression after the pit stops. And now it's much better. Daniel 1 position gained, Bagus 1 position lost, Kiesin 1 position gained, Gabriel 2 positions gained, 4 positions gained by Victor Aitken because of the tactics of Toro Rosso. Armin 1 position gained, and Summit Oskan has got has made it 3 positions up throughout the race. Unreal P11, Hanebsa P12, Tirelessly Blackwood, Fraser only P15 after that nightmare. As he's trying to get the positions up, overtaking Jafari Blackwood in the Force India. But sadly, Baked Oven could not even overtake Lotus. And now it's going to be um, uh, a more difficult mission for Daniel. It's not a Lotus, it's a Force India. And probably Martinez is going for a move on Victor Aitken on the Toro Rosso with tires not in the best conditions, while Rosetta has fresher tires and it's going to be a lock-off for Victor Aitken on these probably dead tires. He cannot stay ahead of Rosetta for so long, as he was racing for 18 laps without any pit stops. Yes, these drivers are going to have a much longer stint. Of 20 laps. Somebody is going to have 15, 16, but Rosetta is going for a 20 lap stint, so close, another lockup by Victor Aitken, but he's still staying out for 6 or 7 more laps. That's the disadvantage of the one piece of strategy, that you have to save the tires as much as possible. But you can use this strategy only if you know how to do that, how to save the tires. And side by side, Rosetta Martinez and Victor Aitken, really close. And it looks like it's going to be a three-way battle or not. But Victor is already down to P8, as he's overtaken by Rosetta Martinez. The battle continues, and now it looks like a four-way battle actually, with Rosetta P7, Aitken P8, Armin P9 and Oskan P10. Well, Aitken is down to 8th position. And even Vucic is going for a move on Toro Rosso. Fraser gets past Blackwood quite successfully, as we are going to take a look at the replay. Was it a clear maneuver? I'm not sure about that. As they go side by side into turn 1. I guess it was. Just a mistake by Jafari. And he's down to P15. As now Armin is going for a move on Aitken again. Victor just has to survive in these 5 final laps on these tires. Another mistake by Victor. And hopefully there is going to be no puncher for him. And The gap between Martinez and Aitken is already 2.2 seconds. Armin's on the inside, Aitken on the outside, but Victor keeps the position. Victor keeps the position. Still on P8. And other drivers are getting closer to the Toro Rosso of Aitken. The same as Daniel Fraser, who's on P14. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 way battle for the 8th position, and that's all for Victor. That's a mistake. That's cost him a lot of points for Toro Rosso. Oh, and yes, that's actually even worse than a puncher. That's a retirement for Victor Aitken. Let's take a look at what has happened here. Probably just a lockup, like it happened to Adam Hidayat, the Lotus driver. And yeah, he has gone straightly into the wall. And yes, he could have scored a lot of points at Monza if he did not crash, and he could have also scored some points at Singapore, but that's the second retirement for Victor in a row. Even third counting Belgium. So after this P5, which has happened in the race before Belgium, uh, as it has happened at Hungarian, everything goes wrong for him, as he has retired for 3 times in a row, as Darabas Daniel is getting closer to Max, and probably the intrigue is still alive. The intrigue is still alive, but they have absolutely different strategies. Daniel is going to be pitting 5 or 6 laps before the Ferrari of Max Schmidle. I'm talking about the Constructor Championship. Ferrari is going to be scoring 25 points if the race would be red flagged now. So 25 points for Ferrari and P3 and P5 for Red Bull, so also 25 points. And now we can also take a look at the fastest laps. And the fastest lap goes for Max Mittler, so basically Ferrari would have gained more points than Red Bull. But it still does not matter that much, as the gap is still more than 30 points. As it's 37 points. And if Daniel will not overtake the Ferrari, he has a chance to overtake it with the undercut. Daniel is still trying to recover after that mistake by the Ferrari pit crew, by their not even pit crew, by the strategists. As now he's already on P13 after being on P15 after the pit stop. Here he comes from the inside on Jake Tilsley. That was really close. Jake was defending really aggressively, leaving the Ferrari not so much space. And as a result, he's down to P13 after that aggressive defense. So also here comes Owen on Blackwood. McLaren and Force India fighting again. Why again? I don't know. So let's see if Baked is going to get past that Force India. Two Mercedes powered cars fighting for P14. And what about the pit stops? Looks like the first pit stop is going to be the second pit stop. Yeah, that sounds quite strange, but yeah. The first pit stop for the next pit window is going to be in less than 9 laps, as is going to be Aditya Bagus. Here comes Beethoven on Jafari Blackwood. Side by side into turn 1, and surely it's going to be an advantage for Baked, as he makes the move up into P14. The next opponent for Baked is going to be the Zauber of Jake Delsley. Can't wait for the second pit window, as probably is going to be the second most important part of the race, or probably the first most important, because the first one was the first pit window, as even a start did not matter anything. Yeah, probably did, as Daniel has overtook Aditya, but still nothing happened since the start of the race. Talking about the real overtakes inside the top 10, probably yes, it was Victor Aitken who was holding up all the drivers behind him, but now he's gone. It's already the second half of the race. And as I was talking about the record of the biggest number of drivers finishing the race, completing it, it was 18, now we have just 19 drivers in this race. Yes, the record can be beaten. Well, basically we have nothing to talk about at the moment, so let's remember the next 4 races, as these races are going to be the season finale. We still have some drivers in the battle for the championship. So yeah, the next race is going to take place at South Korea, at Yeongam. It's going to be the first South Korean Grand Prix in this Formula Racing Championship. As it's also one of my most favorite tracks. The second race is going to be at India, also a new location for the FRC. And it's also such an interesting track, like Yeongam. So after Buddha is going to be the classic finale. It's going to be Yas Marina. It's going to be Abu Dhabi, and then it's going to be Interlagos, Brazil. As last season we had the World Championship winner decided there. Hopefully the same is going to happen this season. And also, if you're just interested what happened at Brazil in 2010, you can check the 2010 Brazilian Grand Prix on our YouTube channel. Yes, it's still available, even if it is in a low quality and with that guy with an awful microphone commentating. No, just kidding. It's 1080p, 660 FPS, and 4K quality of the video. It's just fantastic. Okay, we're getting closer to the lap number 30 or 46 in this race. As Daniel is just 0.3 of a second behind the Ferrari. So we may see the race leader change for the first time in this race. I'm not counting the pit stops, where Aditya was leading for a while. So now it's going to be the battle for the lead in the race, which was which is quite surprising. And also Max is in such a difficult position, as surely Darbus is much faster than Max, and at the same time, if Daniel fails to overtake the Ferrari, then he has an undercut and has a bigger advantage to take the lead in the race. Of course, if somebody is not going to screw his tactics, like somebody keeping him behind after the pit stop, which is also what is also as is also possible. So we still don't know who's going to win the race. And again, you can leave your predictions in the chat. Okay, I guess we should have just a random onboard with a random camera. For example, this one. As actually Bagus is going to be beaten on the next lap. So we are getting closer to the end of the race. As now Bagus also crosses the line and he is going to be beaten next lap. He's going to be the only one to do that. I think Eric is still further from Daniel, Owen is still trying to make a move on Tansley, and yeah, these are all the battles on the track at the moment.
At the end of this lap.
The gap between Smith and Daniel is already 1/10 of a second after after the first sector. That's interesting. So I guess we should check their battles. But no, it's now still half of a second between them. Owen gets past Tansley quite well, as Nielsen is also in the pits. Owen gets past Tansley on the main straight, of course, into turn 1. He comes, and that's a nice move. Also, Emil Nielsen was the first one to pit, not Aditya, so I was wrong. Let's take a look at his pit stop. He's still last. Not last, I'm sorry. 4.6, fantastic. So here comes Aditya Bagus to pit as he has less than 5/10 of a liter of fuel in his car available. So he pits, and let's take a look. Not bad, 4.7. Nice pit stop, or even better than nice. A great pit stop by Red Bull. A fantastic work, as he is going to rejoin the track on P6. Nobody ahead, nobody behind, a lot of free space for him. As he may also get closer to the leading group after the pit stops of Max and Darabas. Do we have anybody else beaten? Yes, it's going to be Santina on the next lap. Actually, on this lap. Or on the next lap. Well, Arnold is in the pits. The Williams driver. Okay, actually, let's skip it because we have a battle for the lead. No, we won't skip it because it's Williams. 5.4, a bit slower than the pit stop by Red Bull, but still that's something. At least not a pit stop that was 7 or 8 seconds long. Kieslin makes it into the pit, so he's going to lose the third position again. Yuri Gabriel is going to be up into P3. Well, let's actually take a look. "4.8, brilliant." It's going to be P5. Is it going to be a P5? No, as Aditya is going to be ahead of the Mercedes. Abosh is going to be pitting, Armin is going to be pitting, and Oskan is going to be pitting, as Fraser is going to make a move on Erika Hanebusa, who is defending quite aggressively, and she keeps the position. Santina makes it into the pits also, as he is going to make it to the end as any other driver. 6 seconds, not bad. Abosh is going to be pitting. Let's take a look at the battle for the lead first. Daniel has just 2 liters of fuel. Looks like he's going to be pitting at the end of the next lap. Max Mietler is already changing the line to defend from the Mercedes, who has an advantage, a huge advantage, as he is going to be going for an undercut. And now, is it going to be confirmed that he is going to be pitting? Yes, it is, but here comes there was Daniel, down the main straight, into turn 1. Max Mietler runs a bit wide, but he is staying at the first position. Daniel's pitting this lap, and Abovic is pitting already. The driver who is on P4 at the moment, the Italian Grand Prix winner at Monza, the Russian Abovic, is in the pits as we have yellow flag as it's under Arnold in the wall. After the pit stop, it's going to be another retirement number 4. What's happened? I guess the same that has happened to Victor Aitken or Adam Hidayat. A lockup and a crash into the wall. So we're not going to have a record broken. Yellow flag on the middle sector for Smitler and Daniel. Come on, we want to see some battles. Above 6.6, he's going to be behind Rosetta Martinez. as he's going to lose probably a lot of time behind the Force India. Still yellow flag, still yellow flag. As Erica is ahead of Fraser. Erica is ahead of Fraser. And Owen is going to be beating, he's now on P10. 4.7 for Armin, 6.6 for Oskan, and Lionel Messi is also in the pits. The Lotus has his front and rear tires replaced and the fuel added by 5.5 seconds. Not bad, not bad. Emil Nielsen is going to be on P17, not getting past Messi. And now the most important part, Daniel making it into the pits for an undercut for the Mercedes. Let's just take a look. Let's just take a look. Also, Owen is pitting. And how fast is the pit crew going to be? 6 seconds! Only 6 seconds! Only 6 seconds! And looks like even Bakus is going to be ahead. And it's going to be Bakus ahead! It's going to be Bakus ahead of Daniel! We're thinking that Daniel would win the race, but no! Bakus had an undercut. An even earlier pit stop. And he's going to be leading the race after the pit stop for Max. Probably. I'm thinking that he's going to be leading the race. Well, actually, let's see. Fraser going for a move on Erika Hanebusen, no unsuccessful. Owen and Tylesley are in the pits. Probably pit stop ruined for Tylesley, as only 7 seconds for Bait Owen. And yes, a pit stop ruined for Jake by Bait. Well, that's it. And we have the first blue flags of the race. And they are being waved for Fernando Tost, the Williams driver. The next one who's going to be pitting is going to be... Who is it going to be? I guess it's going to be Max Mittler? No. But yes, we have two Mercedes drivers fighting for P4. Not even P3, it's going to be P4. But counting Bagos, but counting that Gabriel is going to be beaten, I guess it's going to be a battle for P3 actually. Between the Mercedes drivers. Anybody beating? No? Here comes Abouish and Rosetta Martinez. Abouish has lost a bit of time behind this Force India as they come side by side into the first corner. Abouish does not make the move. He does not make the move. Also Daniel is trying to get past the Zauber of Erika Hanebusa, still defending really aggressively. But still leaving enough space to Daniel. Yes, Fraser is going to be beaten, but he's still on P9 after that huge mistake by the strategists. Nobody's beaten. No, actually Erika is beaten. Erika Hanebusa is going to be beaten this lap. And looks like Erika is the only one. But still, let's take a look. It doesn't really look like it's enough field to make it into the pits, but I guess it's still possible. I guess it's still possible. 2/10, 2/10. Yes, it's going to be enough, as she already makes it into the pits. She has spent all the fuel she could, and she makes it into the pits with just 1/10 of a liter um, of fuel in his car. In her car, of course. And Erica is going to be on P14 or even P15. Is she going to be behind the teammate? Yes, she is. And now it's going to be Max Smeeter pitting. Next lap. Gabriel pitting next lap. Or not. No, probably he's going to be pitting next lap. Probably. But let's take a look. Max Smeeter crosses the line and he's going to be pitting. He's going to be pitting this lap. He's going to be pitting at the end of lap number 38. Gabriel is going to be pitting at the end of lap number 38. And now Rosetta Martinez is going to be pitting. Actually, as she's finishing the lap number 37. Also, Blackwood is going to be pitting. And that's all. That's all. But still, let's take a look. So after these pit stops, the main question is going to be Smeetler or Bagos. Ferrari are already preparing for the pit stop. Max Smeeter is already really close to the pit lane. A problem with the rear right for Rosetta, as the pit stop is just 7 seconds, and it's a mistake by Force India. The same that happened to Williams, the same that happened to Ferrari, and now it's going to be another mistake, and this time it's going to be Force India. And now we're getting ready for the most important pit stop of the race. Who is going to be ahead? Is it going to be Smeetler or is it going to be Bagos? Smeetler is already on the pit lane. The timer is up. Smeetler, the race leader, is in the pits. Gabriel behind him is also pitting. The most important pit stop of the race. Or one of the most important pit stops of the race. 4.8, awesome, brilliant, fantastic. As it's going to be Bagos up into P1. Bagos up into P1 with an awesome lead. And it's going to be Smeetler only P4, even behind Darabas Daniel. That's it. That's the power of strategy. That's it. And it's going to be Bagos P1, Kessin P2 and Daniel P3, even behind Berta, even behind the teammate. But still, it may be another podium for the Hungarian. Second in a row and third in the career. Great tactics by Red Bull, great tactics. It was a self-destruction for Daniel Fraser, losing all the advantage he had, and now he's pitting again. And now he's going to be outside the top 10. So still is going to be an advantage in the championship for Red Bull after this race. Only P13 for Fraser, even P14. Yes, P14 for him. As Red Bull is on P1 and Red Bull is on P5. 35 points for them and only 12 for Ferrari. Or even 13. No, 12, as Beethoven has the fastest lap of the race, it's 1:40.233. Berta Kestin second and Max Smeeter third, Bagos P4. In this battle for the fastest lap of the race. Toast is in the pits. So we have a bit more than 5 laps remaining, with Bagus P1, Kieslin P2 and Daniel P3. And that means that Red Bull is going to be getting closer and closer to Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. Smealer is on P4 and Fraser is on P14, battling with Tasley only for the 13th position. As here comes Daniel, down the main straight, completing the final corner of the 40th lap of the race, side by side him in the DRS. But no, it's even difficult overtaking into the first corner. So we can say that the race winner was decided by the strategy, of course, not just the race winner, but the podium finishers too, Bertie Kestin and Darabas Daniel. I was thinking that Daniel would win the race, but no. As the best strategy was by Red Bull, pitting Aditya first. Actually not first, as the first driver to pit at the second pit window was Williams, and this driver was Alexander Arnold, but he has retired. So yeah, brilliant tactics by Red Bull. And as a result, Ferrari is not approaching the Constructors' Championship lead. Actually, we were talking a lot about the Constructors' Championship, a battle between Ferrari and Red Bull. But let's remember who are on P2 and P3 in the standings, and on P1 and P2 in this race. Of course, these drivers are Bagus and Kieslin. So Bagus is going to take second position in the championship, overtaking Berta Kieslin by 3 points. And also, both of these drivers are getting closer to the final boss, to Max Smittler. And also Beethoven has gained 12 positions in this race. We have not realized it, but that's true. Beethoven... Oh! And well, I jinxed it, I jinxed it. Okay, it's going to be another retirement. It's going to be Santiago Andrevlo and Beethoven colliding. Well, I was not expecting that. But anyways, Fraser and Tasley in a battle, and Fraser is ahead of the Zauber. Well, we should take a look at replay. That was a brilliant timing by myself. Saying that Owen has made a fantastic job and then seeing him colliding with Santino Andreoli. Actually, Santino has got a throttle problem. We're not going to have a record repeated, as Martinez makes it up to P9. Also, what's happened between Fraser and Timesley and battle for oh, and there was also a collision between them, but they were still going side by side, even after the second corner. And as a result, Fraser makes the move around the outside there, as that's a great move by him. That's the race for Beethoven over in such a hilarious way. Okay, we have just 3 laps remaining. And we have another yellow flag, and it's Lionel Messi stopping the car with a transmission problem. Right into turn 1. He has lost the power and decided to stop the car. As we get less and less drivers finishing the race in the last couple of laps. We have 2 laps remaining. So I guess it's time to talk about the review of the race. Well, we did not have a lot of like overtakes, as we had just a few of them, and all of them were into turn 1. So the key to win the race was a great strategy, and that's what Red Bull and Mercedes have done. Plus to the karma for Red Bull and Mercedes strategies, and minus to the karma for the strategies of Ferrari, who have ruined an easy advantage in the points for the team in the Constructors' Championship. Aditi is already getting closer to cross the line and start the final lap of the race. Yeah, the battle for second here is still possible, but I'm not sure that it's going to happen. Yeah, the gap is still less than a second between 2 Mercedes drivers. Something can happen into the first corner of the last lap of the race. Aditya comes down the final corner and starts the lap number 46 of 46. It's going to be the final lap. Daniel using the DRS, trying to get closer to Berta, his teammate, but he's going to be staying on P3 with Smith on P4, Gabriel on P5, then Abovic, Tost, who is now on P15, then Armin, Oscar, Martinez, and Hanebus on P10. Is the final lap, and yeah, we can also take a look at the race progression. Bagu started from P2, was on P3 for more than half of the race, and as a result, he's going to be leading the race until the final lap. Kiesin has started P5, now he's on P2. Daniel started P3, he's going to finish on P3. 3 positions lost by the pole sitter Max Mitler. Yuri Gabriel started on P7 and now he's going to finish on 5th. Abovich gained no positions at all. Armin from P10 to P7, Oscar from P13 to P8, Martins from P8 to P9, and Erika Hanebusa from P16 to P10. Anyways, here is already Aditya Bagus completing the final sector to become the F1 2011 Singapore Grand Prix winner. As here he comes through the final chicane and now through the final corners to become the winner in this race. Congratulations to Aditya! And it's a photo finish for both Mercedes
Well done.
drivers,
We're on
and
the podium.
Berta is still on second, Daniel third, and Smitler on fourth. We should take a look at the replay actually. That was something beautiful. Not really close, but yeah, that's something. Yeah, really close. But Berta keeps the second position. Here comes
Well
Gabriel on
done.
P5,
We're in
Abuch
the points.
P6, then Armin on P7, Oscar on P8, Martinez P9 and Erika Hanebus on P10. Fraser without any points after this mistake by Ferrari. Gasly P12, Blackwood P13, Nielsen P14, and the last one is going to be tossed on P15. Anyways, that's all, and now we're going to take a look at the final race results once again, after everybody is going to finish the race. Anyways, congratulations to Aditya Bagos as he is back onto the podium and back to win the races. That's it, and it looks like everybody has already crossed the line. Okay, not everybody. Sammy Nielsen just stops the car a few meters, not a few, just 100, 200 meters away from completing the full race distance. Okay, Bagus, Gasly, Daniel, then Smitler, Gabriel, Apovich, Armin, Oscar, Martinez, Kanebosov, Fraser, Tansley, Blackwood, and Nielsen, who could not complete the whole race. Then Fernando Tost, Lionel Messi, Santiago Rowley, and Beethoven. And the drivers who are not classified are Arnold, Aitken, Chapman, and Hidet. And actually, um, we have a record repeated of the drivers actually being classified in the race. So yes, it's the third race where there are 18 drivers classified after the full race distance. About the drivers' fastest laps, it's Daniel Fraser with the fastest lap by 2 thousandths of a second faster than Beethoven. That's something beautiful. So yeah, looks like nobody's going to get the point for the fastest lap. Anyways, that's it, and now it's time to listen to the national anthem of Indonesia. And now the national anthem of Austria. That's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time for the qualifying session of the South Korean Grand Prix. I wish you a good afternoon, a good evening, and goodbye.